Hi, it's Julie from the PMFRC Programs Manager. It is good to see everybody back for another fireside chat. This is our last fireside chat for November. So it is great to see everybody here. Hard to believe that we are coming to the end of the year, but that's where we are today. Today we are talking about Financial Literacy Month. We've been, if you follow us on Facebook, we've been sharing some posts from some workshops that have been going on for the last couple of weeks dealing with finances. So we are going to be talking to a couple of different partners today about Financial Literacy Month and some advice and some thoughts that you should be keeping in mind going through as you're coming up with some plans for finances. I'm just going to, in a second, introduce all of the folks that are on the call. But before we do, I just want to remind everybody that this is a live session. So as we're going through, if I or any of the guests have mentioned a point that particularly interests you or twigs a question in your mind, please add into the comments section. We will see all of those and that we will try to get to as many questions as we can at the end. Also understanding that finances can be so personal to so many people. If there's a question that you don't want to add into the comment section, if you find that too personal, please send us a direct message and we will make sure to connect you with one of the people that are on the call and make sure that you get the question answered and get the support that you need. So just going around the guests that are joining us today, we have Commanding Officer of Personnel Services at Garrison Petawawa, Lieutenant Colonel Ian Clark. We have Christina Rocho and Ross Meadows from BMO in Deep River. We have Bonnie Blado from SISIP joining us, and Claudia Beswick, who is the Executive Director at the PMFRC, is also here with us. Before we start, Claudia, do you have any updates on the PMFRC, how we're doing with our business resumption plan, and what programs or services would be available? You're on mute.
Sorry.
Okay.
Not much has changed since last week when we reported. Our focus really is primarily offering virtual services. We do have the Northside office open. Employment Services is open for some coaching. We're staying in alignment with what the Garrison is doing for their resumption plan. And otherwise, we just remain adaptable and to the current situation, and we'll adjust as we need to.
Perfect. Lieutenant Colonel Ian Clark is here joining us. The Garrison, as we mentioned, had their own business resumption plan. Are there any updates on the Garrison side that you want to share with folks?
Julie, thanks for having me again. Hey, everybody. There's really no change on the Garrison side. There's a couple internal services where we've changed how it's being delivered, but in terms of what the public would see, it's really no change from our previous chat. The base is essentially closed. However, to folks that don't have business on the base. However, if it's a spouse dropping or picking up their spouse or going to Little Troopers Road daycare, that's fine. But the base is still essentially closed unless you have business here. I can't speak for when that is going to change. Clearly, across the province, there's been some changes in each region. What I'll say is that here on the Garrison, we'll synchronize ourselves with our county. So we will respect what is happening locally. So what's going on here, and for anyone who's watching this from other bases and garrisons, each garrison and base might have a different situation based on what's happening around them. So Toronto might be in a different situation from here, than Trenton, than Gagetown. But currently, no real change to the base from our last chat.
Perfect. I'm going to stay with you, sir. You are the person who recommended this topic today. Can you talk a little bit about Financial Literacy Month and why it's important? And I think specifically why the Canadian Armed Forces would be so interested in a topic like finances for the members.
Perfect. Thanks, Julie. I'll start by saying I am not a financial advisor or counselor or expert. I have no expertise in that matter. As part of my role, though, I do have some oversight, though, of several agencies from a chain of command perspective that do give support to our CAF members and their families. So that's my own personal interest here. I'll say that financial literacy can seem like a daunting topic, and it's a complex topic. It's a very important one, though, as well. Finance is one of the domains of wellness. It affects so many things. And it's not all negative, but at times folks can get into trouble, and they might not know how to get out of it, or they may not know the signs that they're getting into trouble, or they might want to improve their situation, but don't necessarily know how. It's a very private matter as well. We don't like to discuss finances. It can be an awkward thing to talk about. It's one thing to talk about it in theory. It's another thing to talk about it yourself. It's not necessarily taught in schools. Certainly you can go to school to take this, but coming up in life, you may not be exposed to many of the topics that we're going to touch briefly today. And so the reason we're doing this is to let everyone know that there's a lot of resources out there, people who are experts, folks that can offer some pathways and advice. At the end of the day, we're all in charge of our own finances, yes, but we do have access to folks that can give us some really good advice. So the idea is to arm people with that advice so they can then make decisions that are informed, for their each individual, unique circumstance that we find ourselves in. So yeah, that's why we're doing this today. We've had a number of workshops. In fact, I was at one yesterday with Bonnie, and we brought in BMO as well, as they have a range of services that they can give to the CAF and their families. So this is an opportunity just to let people know what's out there and maybe spark some future conversations between CAF members and their families and the folks that can provide advice.
Perfect, thank you. Christina, thank you for joining us today. You are with Bank of Montreal. Bank of Montreal does have a specific relationship with the Canadian Armed Forces. And oftentimes we talk about different partners and different programs. Can you tell us a little bit about the program, about that relationship? And I guess more specifically, how do military families benefit from that relationship?
Thank you, Julie. Like you said, I'm with BMO in Deep River, and we have a program called CDCB, which is the Canadian Defence Community Banking Program. And what that does is it offers many different perks and discounts and things like that for Canadian Forces members, active and not active. And actually, that's one of there are many different divisions of the people working on base and off base that we cover. So NPF is covered, SISIP employees, CanX employees, and our program is geared to military families in the way that we offer things or programs that actually affect their daily life. So postings, we have specific things with our mortgages in regards to postings, and we offer free banking, which is our #1 thing for the Canadian Defense Program. So
Bank of Montreal is available across the country. So if I start dealing with a rep like you in Deep River and I get posted somewhere in Calgary, I can still take advantage of that program in another location.
Absolutely, yeah. Now in the digital age, it's countrywide, so it doesn't matter where you start or where you finish. The program is available across the country.
And the other thing I just wanted to touch on that you said it's available for serving members and people after they leave the CAF as well?
Yes, so it's for any active serving member right now, any veterans, any families, and this is all including their families as well. So it's anyone that lives in your household, any former DND staff, any NPF staff, any MFRC staff and their families. So PMFRC, everyone who works with you is included in that, because it is a community defense bank, Canadian Defense Community Banking. So it's the whole community of people that we offer this program to.
I think that's an important point to mention, because I think we see defense and then maybe we stop there and we don't look at that community and all the people that would apply for. So the family members as well can get involved in that. Thank you. Bonnie, you are with SISIP.
Yes.
Let's just talk about SISIP overall. I don't know a lot about SISIP. I am a military spouse, have been for many years, and beyond the fact that it's in the CanX, I don't really know a lot about it. Can you talk a little bit about what SISIP is, and sort of what the approach is from a SISIP perspective to financial health for Canadian Forces members?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Julie. So SISIP originated to offer insurance to service members back in 1969, and through the years we've evolved to add in the services of financial counseling, which is my role. I'm financial counselor for Petawawa and North Bay, Sudbury, and Sault Ste. Marie. As well, we have the financial planning services. So what we try to achieve is to provide a holistic approach to providing financial wellness and health for military members and their spouses through insurance to protect your families against loss of income. So we offer things like term insurance, permanent insurance, critical illness life insurance, as well as we offer services, which I do, for money management, budgeting, planning for emergencies, planning for irregular expenses, like, you know, Fido gets sick or the dog or the car needs attention. A lot of our military members are not from this local area, so let's talk about building in a plan that you could travel on your leave, maybe not now, but in general times, that you would have. Yes, in theory, but you know, let's plan for when we come out of the other side of this pandemic, but plan that you have funds available to visit your family during your leave, that sort of thing. So really striking the budget planning piece of your budget. And then we'd like to move forward with what you have available perhaps for savings, and we have certified financial planners on site that can help you build an investment plan, talk to you about the implications with taxes, you know, tax deductions, tax costs, depending on your situation. So again, it's the whole financial health piece that we're looking at, from protecting your family to managing your money to saving and planning towards being successful with achieving your financial goals. We're in the Canucks Plaza. We're offering virtual appointments if people prefer. We offer phone appointments. Right now, there are in-person appointments available. Again, as Lieutenant Colonel Clark said, subject to whatever happens in the county. But yeah, full range of services specific to the military community. So yeah, we've got lots of services.
I've been following a number of the SISIP posts this month, and one thing I just wanted to ask you a quick question, but maybe kind of clarify. I hear the word budget, and at the beginning of November, I hear the word budget, and I picture myself with a little notebook writing down every single time I have a coffee, and that is not something I'm interested in doing.
Okay.
Can you talk to us about the idea of budget and how broad or specific that can be, and how people can have control over that?
Yes. If it's something that doesn't appeal to you, or, you know, a lot of myths with budget are that they're boring, I don't need one, I have it in my head, I don't want to, et cetera, it would be an exercise that I encourage everybody to do at least once. It can be very eye-opening. And when I meet with people specifically for managing their money, and let me qualify that by saying you don't need to be in financial hardship or difficulty or stressed to use the service. If you've never had a budget and you want to learn how to make one, or if you have one and you wonder if perhaps you can improve upon that, it's a life skill that every person should have, regardless of income, position, employer, etc. So if you've never done one, it's a good idea to try it at least once. And then how do you manage that? So many different platforms. You could use the notebook, Julie, like you mentioned. We have specific Excel documents. There are many apps out there that are available. And in fact, yesterday for the workshop that we held, I printed them. I'm not an app person personally, but there are very highly recommended apps. And then with the Financial Consumer Agency of Canada, they promote Financial Literacy Month every year. This is year number 10 nationwide. They have a fantastic interactive budget document there as well. If you like to use the electronic version, that's another really great link that SISIP endorses. It's on our website as well, the link to FCAC, Financial Consumer Agency for Canada. So many platforms. Again, if you like it electronic or paper-based, it is really your choice, but it's a very interesting experience to go through at least once. It gives you a lot of clarity on what you think you're spending versus perhaps what you actually spend, but it also maybe will showcase some areas where, okay, if I spend a little bit less here, it would free up some money that I could perhaps invest or save towards whatever my goals are, building that emergency fund, my retirement, my kids' education, my mortgage, whatever the case may be. It's very eye-opening. And we also partner with Support Our Troops. There are some preventative loans and grant programs, as well as the Canadian Defence Community Banking Debt Solution Loan Program that partner with Christina and her colleagues on to help people manage some of their debt obligations.
Perfect. I will connect with you after, and I'll get that link to the FCAC, and we will add that to the comments so people can find it after.
Definitely.
Christina, BMO, we talked about sort of the overall portfolio and who is able to access the banking plan. Can you talk about some of the specific services that would be available to military families?
Of course. One thing I just want to say right off the top is that we work in addition to SISIP. So anything that we offer is in addition to their programs. We don't do the same things, we absolutely appreciate SISIP and what they do for the CAF families. So we're just in addition to.
Thank you.
So the main thing for military families is that we offer free banking. So there's no catch, there's no hidden fees, just 100% free. That means unlimited transactions, unlimited email money transfers. And the cool thing about this program geared to the military is that you get 5 non-BMO ABM withdrawals worldwide. So you're overseas and you're serving, any ABM you use, there's no fees on the BMO end to use it for any serving member or any member of the defense community. You can have up to 20 different accounts, and so that's just the banking program. Another big seller for us is our mortgage program, our mortgage rates for military. So you get the best of BMO. So right now our rates are between 1.6 and 1.7% for military members. The two really important things about that for military is that there are no fees when you break your mortgage when you're posted. So with any posting message, you can move, and no matter how far you in on your mortgage, there are no fees. It's completely waived for military. And another good thing is the insurance that we offer on our mortgages, which is creditor insurance, which is what we offer on our mortgages, is absolutely valid while on active duty within war zones or any areas of civil disobedience. So that's very specific to BMO and to our military program, because that's not common in a lot of insurance programs. So that's definitely something that is important and to let us know. And our line of credits also are really popular with our military community. Right now, just as an example, our rates for military 3.7 on a line of credit. So that is extremely low. So between the bank plans, the mortgages, and the line of credit, a BMO relationship saves you lots and lots of money.
So how would somebody access that? Would they just go into the BMO and mention that they are from a military family? Is that the way you would sort of start that relationship, or is there a specific form you fill out, or?
Oh gosh, no, you can call us. The billboard outside Canex now has my phone number on it. Ross is at Canex on Fridays, but you can pretty much contact any BMO and just let us know that you're military. And my goodness, if you get me, I get very excited, because you step in and we just get to give you free things and best rates, and I get pretty excited. So just go into any BMO.
Perfect.
Mechanics on Fridays, just to let people know. How people I talk to don't realize this is what we do. So I'm just trying to raise awareness.
So you said you were at Canex on Fridays?
Yes, I have been for the last 4 Fridays, and I intend to go and have a study presence there. So along with just letting people know about our banking service, what we offer, which it seems that half the people don't seem to know, and a lot of people already have our products. But then I asked them just give us a call, because we can look over their accounts, see what they have, and we might be able to give them further discounts, or they're maybe not getting the discounts they should, or what have you. And then just I'm on site just to answer questions about banking or whatever they might have, just to be there in time, so they can ask what they like, because we just haven't had a presence there for a while. So
thank you. That's good to know. So that's the Canex that is on the Garrison Petawawa. That's just on Festival Boulevard. So you'd be in the SISIP office there.
Yeah, so if anyone's watching and they want to ask questions up there on Friday. So.
Perfect, thank you. Bonnie, we talked earlier about the fact that a lot of people associate SISIP with the military. And they hear about SISIP a lot in the annual briefings, and as well as some of the DAGs. And some people may think that would be the only time that they should be connecting with SISIP. I know from listening to you that that's not true. When should people be thinking about taking a look at their SISIP accounts?
There is no absolute right or wrong time. The sooner the better. Again, for the education piece, learning to manage your money. If you're wanting to protect your family for insurance, absolutely. Again, the sooner the better to have perhaps a needs analysis. It's not about selling insurance. It's what does your family need to protect them, so should you experience a loss of income due to loss of life. Bit of a morbid topic, but it is necessary to protect your families. for members and spouses and their children. So we have a needs analysis with perhaps an insurance rep. The money management, again, just getting that key piece of what do I have coming in, what's going out, what do I have to work with towards achieving my goals. Everybody has financial goals. There's no right or wrong. It could be, I'm struggling to have my bills paid on time every month. I want a plan to make sure I can take away that stress. Or, I'm starting a family. What sorts of things do I need to think about? Education and time off work and planning those pieces. Or, at some point I'd like to buy a house or maybe retire. So let's look at what you have for disposable income to work towards that. And again, with the planners to help you build the plan to move in that direction. So when should they meet? Whenever you would like to. Just give us a call. We're happy to get you in front of the right person for whatever your needs are, to answer any questions. It's free service. No obligation, confidential, and we're very pleased to talk to you by email, by phone, through electronic means. But definitely, any questions, please, anytime, give us a call.
We always talk about that every family is different and everybody has different needs and different circumstances. But when you think about from a financial perspective, the person that you are now is going to be very different than the person that you're going to be in 5 or 10 years from now, your needs and that. So sort of making sure that you're staying on top of what the changes were from when you actually set those things up.
Definitely what you need financially, whether it be life insurance or savings or planning, is very different if you're a young single person paying $50 a month in rent in the shacks and starting out. Your life can change, and maybe you have a significant other, and maybe you start a family or don't. Maybe you want to buy a house or not. But every time you have some sort of a major life change, it's a really good trigger time to review your financial situation and make sure that your plan is ever evolving to cover that holistic approach to, being that financial, having a financial plan and financial health check, I guess you could call it.
And who should be involved in that conversation? Is if for a SISIP appointment, are members or family members able to go to those appointments as well, or just the member?
The member and their partner, so married, common law, cohabitating. If you're sharing financial responsibilities with another individual, then absolutely. The services are designed for members and their spouses. And certainly if you have a life partner, definitely we encourage both parties to attend. Both people have perspectives, working towards common goals, but have individual thought processes. So we like to hear from both parties so that we can find a common ground to help you achieve your goals together.
Thank you. Claudia, the PMFRC doesn't provide financial services or financial advice. And you were very clear when we invited you that you were not willing to provide financial advice, and that's great. But what the PMFRC does do is we support military families. And recently we've introduced a program called the Veteran Family Program, and it's to help people who are going through that transition from military to civilian life. What can the VFP program do for people who are going through that transition?
So much like the military lifestyle has unique challenges, so too does transitioning from the military lifestyle into the civilian environment. So really, families and members are developing like a roadmap of what they need to do and the services that they need to connect with that are going to be beneficial in their transition out of the CAF. So Louise Anderson, who is our Veteran Family Program Coordinator, can really help the members and the families to navigate and link them up with any of the relevant organizations that can provide the unique assistance that they're looking for. So we know finances are a big stressor for families, and establishing that financial stability is one of the identified domains of wellness that was talked about earlier. And although we don't provide the actual financial services, Louise can certainly start those conversations with the member and with the families, thinking about what they need to prepare for as they transition out of the military. She also helps everyone get connected to those services when they need it. So we do that warm transfer. Every family situation is different. We know that. That's what makes the VFP program so beneficial, because Louise will work with each family individually where they're at, help them develop a plan, support them as they navigate through their roadmap. So recently the Veteran Family Program Coordinator, so Louise, did a virtual session specifically for the releasing members, talking about issues that members and families should consider as they transition out. And I believe a recording of that is available, and the link will be in the comments section. So if you're interested in catching up on that and getting some more valuable information, then you most definitely should check that recording out.
Perfect. Thank you. Before we go, we talk about the fact November is Financial Literacy Month, and I think it's great that we talk about these topics and about things that we should be thinking about and things that we should file away. But if you had the opportunity, realizing that everybody is different, to give the people who are watching today one piece of advice, one concrete kind of takeaway thing that they could do that would really make a difference from them for their financial wellness, what advice would you give? I'm going to start with Claudia.
So again, I am not a financial expert. That's why we have all of these wonderful people on the chat with us. So if I could offer any words of wisdom, it's just that it's okay if you don't have all the answers right away. I would say that there's a lot of resources available to the members and families, and those resources are the ones that are going to have the answers to your questions, and they will help you as you transition out. So the transition period itself can be a really scary concept. After you've had many years of being in a very structured environment, it's not just a job that's changing, it's the entire lifestyle for the member and for the family that's changing. So reach out when you need to whomever you need to, and know, and I've said this before, no door is the wrong door. And from the MFRC perspective, and with the support of the Veteran Family Program Coordinator, will guide you to the right door. And even if you knock on the doors of the MFRC and it is not Louise and it is any one of those staff, they will do the same thing. They will connect you with the right people that you're looking for to better support whatever it is that you need at that time.
As we're getting ready for the chat, I've had an opportunity to be chatting with Christina and with Bonnie, and I think that they would both echo the comment that if you're not sure and you have a question to ask, we would rather you call and ask us, and we would help you find the right door than not get the support that you need. So if you're sitting on the fence and you're not sure if you should make that call and you've got those questions, I would really encourage you to go ahead and do that, because these are people who really want to help you and give you that advice or the support that you need. Bonnie, what would your advice be?
Every person looks after their mental health, their physical health. We are here to support you in your financial health. The earlier you grab hold of your financial well-being, the easier it will be to handle, but it is also never too late to start looking at your financial situation. Can you improve it, and think about your goals. And bottom line is, start early, start soon, don't wait, don't procrastinate. Just call us. If you're not even ready right now, call us and see what we're all about. Talk to us, ask any questions that you may have. And I echo exactly what Claudia says. If you call me and you should be talking to Christina or Ross, for your mortgage, then absolutely, we will point you in the right direction.
Perfect, thank you. Colonel Clark.
Thank you.
Okay. When I was a young troop, the advice I got from the sergeant major when we went on leave was to put $5 in our sock drawer so that we could get a haircut when we got back from leave. I don't need that as much anymore, but I would say it kind of tags on to what both Bonnie and Claudia said, was when we are proud. Finances are private. We don't like to share things like that, just like our health. We don't like to share what's going on with our health, but we need to share it with our doctor, for instance. And I would say it's the same with our finances. So for all of us is to be open to talk to an expert who will keep everything private and can give advice, whether it's just how either investment options or how to get out of debt, or how to reduce debt the best way, or insurance. But just be open to get that advice. And it's not a bad thing. We are not born knowing how to do this, and we're not necessarily taught how to do it. So just be open to getting that help, and just be assured that it will, it will be kept private. And there's ways to get help without necessarily having to come through the chain of command. I'll put that out there as well. That our hope is that if you are in trouble, that you get out of trouble with the least problems, and we don't necessarily have to be involved. I just want to put it out there. That's it for me. And thanks to the team for coming. And although I'm a panelist, I was writing things down saying, that's interesting, I need to do that too. So I'm learning. Thanks.
Christina, what would your advice be? Christina and or Ross, you can both chime in here if you'd like.
Ours would be to access your resources. We have an entire program tailored to the Canadian defense community. So take a look. It cannot be beat. I mean, I know it's cliche to say we're here to help coming from, but we actually love our military community, and this program is 100% geared to offering specific benefits to the military community. So take a look at what we have to offer. If you're already a customer, there are things that we can still offer you that you might not know. So it would just be to take a look at your resources, give us a call or in person, and we are absolutely here to help and help you get your be financially free.
That sounds like a great goal. Over the last couple of months, we've been doing these fireside chats. I find there's not a month that goes by that someone doesn't give a piece of advice or mention something that I had no idea about. And when it comes to finances, I think for so many of us, you don't know what you don't know. So be curious and start asking those questions. The people in this call are a great place to start. There are resources that are available if you look for them, so don't wait on that. We have no comments or questions coming in, so I want to thank everybody for joining us today. If you are watching this as a recorded session and you have a question that comes up, it's not too late to ask them. Add them into the comments, add them into the direct message. We will keep track of those and we will refer you as we see fit as it works out. We are going to be back with another fireside chat next week, and we are going to be talking about accreditation. The PMFRC is accredited with Accreditation Canada. Just a little bit of what that process means and why it's important, and what benefits military families will get from the fact that the PMFRC has gone through that process. So thank you all for joining us. After the session, I'm going to add all those comments and links and contact information into the comment section so you can find it. So I encourage you to be curious, click on those links and see what you can find. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.